Hey, I'm Brett, or a lot of people call me Tango. This is my very first video for my new channel called The Reloading Bench. And I had a great man, my stepdad, who passed on his knowledge of reloading that he got from his father. And I'm going to be passing it down to my son. And you'll probably see him in these videos because he's going to help me out doing some of this stuff. But I want to pass it on to as many people as I can. And it's just, this is one of the most enjoyable things I've ever done. Love it. I've been reloading since I was 8, 9, 10 years old, right around in there is when I started. Sitting on my stepdad's lap, running the press, and he taught me, and I slowly progressed throughout the whole process. Now, as you can see, we've got a Dillon 550B there, just out of frame, is a single stage RCBS reloader special that he gave me for Christmas one year. He gave me that, oh geez, 25, 26 years ago maybe, and that thing's still going strong. This video is mainly going to be about what I consider to be my rules for the reloading room, safety, stuff like that. Just basic. If you ever been in the military, safety briefing. Okay, that's our first video. It's going to be our safety briefing. So, in the reloading process, you're dealing with powder and primers. Okay, they're flammable. They're explosive. So, rule number 1: no smoking. Shouldn't be smoking anywhere near your reloading room at all. Smoke before you come in, that's fine. You can smoke 2 packs of cigarettes, I don't care. Just please, do not smoke while you're reloading. It is not a good thing to do. Alcohol impairs your judgment. It's proven. Everybody likes to drink beer every now and then, a glass of whiskey, wine. Hey, I ain't judging. Tastes like feet to me, but if you like wine, go for it. Just not before or during your reloading process. And there's multiple reasons other than just the fact that it impairs your judgment. This is not a, hey man, hold my beer, watch this kind of exercise we're going through in these videos. This is serious business. You can hurt and you can kill yourself or somebody else with this. And I take everything I do at this bench that seriously, as should you. You shouldn't have any distractions as you're learning. As you get more into reloading and as you get more comfortable, you can add it. You know, you let your dog come in. My dog is a friggin' spaz, so I keep her out because she paces back and forth and she's always under my feet and she's jumping up, and I just leave her outside, or she stays in the house with her mom. Kids, when you're first starting out, first learning, don't have your kids around. Kind of make it dad time or mom time if you're a woman. Hey, women reload, women shoot. Awesome. But have your kids taking care of themselves or whatever. But you shouldn't have your kids around causing distractions. Don't bring your cell phone, and don't bring the home phone if you have both. Just leave them out. You know, you can spend a half hour, or you can spend 6 hours in here, or in your reloading area. Hey, quiet time to do what you need to do. Leave cell phones and that out. And if, once we get later on in the videos, if you have an electronic scale, if you invest in an electronic scale later on in your reloading, you don't want, you can see I got a fluorescent light behind me. Fluorescent lights will screw up those scales. A cell phone going off, 1 second is all it takes to get the wrong powder charge and blow your damn face off. Right? So, the next one I'm going to touch on is music. This is a touchy subject between a lot of reloaders. A lot of guys say no music whatsoever, none, it's a distraction. It doesn't help. For me, I grew up shooting with no hearing protection. Spent 5 of my 8 years in the Army as a friggin' 6.2 Echo dozer operator, running heavy equipment after I got out for a while, no hearing protection. So I've got tinnitus in both ears, and in one ear it's worse than the other. So I find that the music helps keep that ringing in my ears down to a minimum. So it kind of helps me concentrate on my task. So I normally have music going in the background, not blaring loud heavy metal. It's usually real low, mellow music, whatever you like. Like I said, no TV. You should never watch TV. I don't care if you think you're the best multitasker in the world. Reloading is not a job for multitasking. To a point. Once you get one of these, then you're going to have to multitask. But everything's going on in a tiny little area, so it's easier to deal with. So that's it for the distractions part. We're going to move on to some safety equipment here. You see me holding them? Yeah, you look dumb with them on, but guess what? You want to protect your eyes. You only get one set of them, guys and gals. Protect them. Okay? I'm bad about wearing them. I really am, and I shouldn't be. But yeah, you should wear eye protection. Some people say wear hearing protection. If you want to wear hearing protection while you're reloading, go for it. I never do. But there's always that chance that when you're seating a primer, you seat it a little too hard and wha-bow, that baby goes off. And they're loud. Like I'm in a 10 by 12 shed is where I do all my reloading. And I've had one go off in here and wow. It's like firing off a gun inside. Literally. They're loud. And they spew sparks and crap everywhere. That's why I say eye protection, because you never know when one's going to go off. I'm not trying to scare anybody off. I don't have any out here right now. A lot of guys I know now wear rubber gloves. I do and I don't. Depends on how good I want to be about washing my hands. But rubber gloves are always a good thing to wear if you want, because you're dealing with chemicals, lead nitrate and primers, all that good stuff. Powder's got who knows what in it. So, gloves if you want them. And again, forgot one thing. I'm going to add it in here. Food. Don't be eating. Like I said, you've got nasty stuff all over your hands. You've got K-Slew. You've got dirt and grime from the range. Okay? You've got lead. You've got who knows what on your hands. So don't be out here eating a ham sandwich while you're reloading. Eat before or eat after. Should have a reloading manual. I don't have mine out here because I'm not doing any reloading. I keep them in the house. You know, I normally keep one reloading manual, and that's the one that has the recipe that I'm using in it. I have 10 or 15 different reloading manuals of different stuff because, as you'll find out as you gather more reloading manuals, every manual is different. Because every manufacturer of powder, bullets, anything, any reloading components, everyone puts out a reloading manual, and it all depends on what kind of gun they use to test. A lot of them will use pressure barrels with special actions that they just screw off and screw on. It's universal and everything. Some of them use regular rifles and they just put pressure transducers on the barrel. You know, it all depends on what that company's using to determine their data on what they tell you to load with. Most of the time they're pretty close. Sometimes they're not. You just got to pick your recipe and you got to stick with that. Use the same primers, the same bullets, and the same powders that they're using in the beginning. And we'll get more in depth. This is going to be ongoing process here for a long time. And I'll get more in depth on doing ladders and doing, you know, incrementing your powder charge by 1/10 of a grain or whatever. And so Yeah. Should have one reloading manual out. You can keep extras handy in case you want to reference whatnot. I try just to keep one out because then I'm not confused with what I'm reading. Powder. 1 pound or 8-pound jug, however many you use, whatever. But only have the powder you are currently using to load out on your bench. That is it. And I say this, and this is something that I will stick to forever because I didn't do it one time. And I was reloading on this. I had 500 rounds of 45 ACP all done, loaded, ready to go. And then I seen 2 powder canisters sitting on my bench. One was a rifle powder for 223. The other was a shotgun / pistol powder for my 45. Talk about panic. I was sweating so bad I pulled 500 bullets. I wasted 500 bullets and the powder because I won't reuse the powder. Throw it away. Just throw it out in the yard. Good fertilizer. Okay? And I was loading with plated bullets. That's 500 bullets I wasted right there because the plating got messed up pulling them out and seating them. When I tried to reseat them, it just curl up around the edges and everything. So, one simple mistake. You load pistol powder into a rifle cartridge at a rifle load and hi-ya, it's 4th of July. Same thing can happen loading the other way. Rifle powder and a pistol cartridge. It may stick in the barrel, it may blow up in your hand. You just don't know. Too low of a powder charge will blow up, too high of a powder charge will blow up. So, one kind of powder on the bench. The only kind you want out is the stuff you're using right then and there. Don't plan on loading 100 223s and get out your powder and set it there. Then you're going to load some 30-06s, so you got your other powder sitting out there with the primers. No. You just get confused, and that's when bad things happen. And we don't want bad things to happen. That's why I'm doing this channel. So one kind of powder at a time. Primers. I got some stashed back here. Same thing goes for primers. Okay? Use the primers that's called for by the reload manual. At first, don't. I'm going to tell you this a lot. At first, stick to exactly what your manual says to do. It'll make your life a little easier. It'll cause less confusion, and you'll spend less time on the internet, on message boards or YouTube or whatever, getting the wrong information. Okay? Because there's 100,000, there's millions of reloaders, and every single one of them will tell you something different. And we'll delve into changing primers or changing powder and all that as we get further into these videos. But to this day, same with the powder. I only keep the primers I'm using. I only keep enough of them out to load what I'm going to load. And that's it. Okay? Because like these are CCI BR2. These are large rifle bench rest primers that I use for my 308. These burn different than the Wolf primers that I have for other stuff. They burn different than Federal Match primers. Again, different manufacturers, different mixtures, all burn a little different. So again, in your reloading manual, look at the recipe that they give you. Case, powder, primers, bullet, and stick to that. And tell you to keep. It'll be easier in the long run for you to learn. And if something goes bad, it'll help you diagnose and help you get on to maybe a message board or YouTube or whatever and find out maybe what's going on, why your velocity isn't where it should be, or why your groups aren't doing good. You know, it's easy. Check everything. loading, we're going to load in steps. We're going to do one process, and that's all we're going to do to all the cases we're loading. And we're going to go on. We're going to check that process, make sure everything's right. First thing you're going to do most of the time, even with brand new bags of brass. This come out of one bag of 50 rounds of 25-06 that I got for another target rifle. Okay, bam. Pulled them out of the package, laid them on the bench, rolled them around, started looking at each and every one of them, looking at the primer pockets, checking the case mounts, looking the case over. And these two, one has a folded in neck, so as soon as you shoot it, it might rupture. And this one has a nick where the brass got folded over during the process of them drawing the case out. These are no good, trash, but eventually I'll cut them up and use them as props. Check everything again. I usually double and triple check everything, okay? I can't stress enough. Take your time, double check, triple check before you go on. Okay? Some of you are probably wondering, oh, what's that thing behind me? This is my Rock River Arms Predator Pursuit Rifle, topped with a 6-24x50 Nikon Monarch. It's got a 20-inch stainless steel bull barrel on it. I've got another gun. I love shooting varmints. If it's small furry and belongs in a Disney movie, buddy, I want to shoot at it, because that's what I do. I love killing varmints. Groundhogs, ground squirrels, prairie dogs, I don't care. If it's considered a varmint, I want to shoot that damn thing. I've taken this out here in Virginia where I live. Taken this out a couple of times. Longest kill has been 450 some yards. 450 yards, roughly, on a groundhog with a 60 grain Hornady VMAX. And let me tell you, had a 22 caliber entrance hole, and it looked like somebody shot him with a friggin' howitzer on the backside at 400 yards, 450 yards. I love me some Hornady bullets. As you can see back here where I got all my bullets laid out. Most of them are Hornady. Yeah, I got some Burgers in there. And Sierra. I grew up loading mostly Sierras. I switched to Hornady because they're a little cheaper and they're just as good. And it all depends on what your rifle likes too. So again, to recap, no smoking, no drinking. Keep your distractions to a minimum. Animals, kids, phones, music, TV. Wear your eye protection, dummy. Rubber gloves if you want. One reload manual, one powder, one kind of primers, right? And let me not forget one of the most important safety devices that you should have in your reloading room, because most everything we're dealing with is flammable. So, that's right. You should have an approved fire putter outer, buddy. Fire extinguisher. Mine was sitting on the bench. Mine hangs up in a corner over here. Quick, easy access in case anything happens. Because this is multi-purpose area here. I reload over here. I got paint and I've got turpentine, all sorts of good shit in here. This is the anti-California zone right here, buddy, because there's so much cancer-causing shit in here. It's great. So, check, check, check. And that's about it for this video. So as a wise man once told me, have a good time on the range and keep your powder dry. Thank you.